Hello, welcome back to another multiplayer battle. Today we're looking at a very long one where I'm going to let you know my teammate was a little bit salty, but I'm going to go over what went right and what went wrong. Let me tell you, first off, when your foes have trebuchets, you should never charge right into them like that, not when you have beautiful trees over here. These trees will block shots and are great for you. It'll also be a tough location for enemies to actually attack you with their flying creatures. You brought in 2 mortis engines, don't ever do that. That isn't a need at all. We've got 2 terror guys, and again, not really a great need. They're meant to instill terror. So here, we've got a very, well, limited army selection here. The vampire counts have a lot to pick from, and that just isn't it of what you should pick. I brought in a very sturdy force. I brought in 2 cannon, I brought in 4 iron breakers, I brought in 2 hammerers, 2 slayers, 1 Thorgrim, I brought in a rune priest, and of course again I have my 4 thunderers. It's a very solid tiny dwarf army with I mean look, I knew what I was doing here. I just kind of got on and I was like, you know what? I know what dwarf build I want and I know how it can work. But if you look at the map right now, there's really something that we lack that they have, and that would be map control. If you look at it over here, we're looking at Flying Knights, we're looking at the King of Bretonia, and they're able to surround us right now. That's really bad for us, completely bad. And if you look at it, he brought in 2 dire wolf packs to go die immediately. I'm trying to get a few shots in. I'm trying to use my cannon to fight the Luminarch. I'm actually going to fast forward for a little bit because the fight is very, very long and I don't want you to be here the whole day just watching me shoot a few things. But if you look at it, I'm just trying to shoot in. Those wolves are going to die no matter what. Like, no matter what they do, they are done for. They can do nothing. And so that is what is going on here, is that they're now being shot. And if you look at it over here again, they're using Flock of Doom to go after the entire group, doing more damage. So I want you to look at how much damage he's taking. 1, they're all grouped up. 1 Mortis engine is nearly gone. We're looking at 1 Grave Guard heavily hit. We're looking at Vlad taking a lot of damage. The trebuchets are getting so many kills. There's a terror guys back here trying to get 1, but it doesn't even quite work out. Why? There's a bunch of men-at-arms with shields and pole arms. And so I'm thinking to myself, why am I going to charge in and expose myself on my flanks to all of these knights from Bretonia, and I'm not going to even have an ally who's going to wait for me to get up there or even properly support me, and doesn't even properly charge their lines. He's bunching them all up. That's perfect for a trebuchet to kill you. That's perfect for an enemy to just use AoE to kill you the entire time. If you look at it, Flock of Doom upgrades being used again. We're looking at Luminarchs doing damage again. And so I told myself, I'm not doing that. I'm going to have my cannon do what they can to take out what they can. I take out the Luminarch of Heesh. It had plenty of ammo left to actually do damage, so I wanted to make sure that I actually did hit it. Ooh. And they're gone. If you keep on looking at it right now, the Terror guys are still doing things, but it doesn't seem to do much. Well, I mean, you're not really meant to let it sit in one location. We even have a White King on its own over here. We've got a Feral Manticore. We've got a Terror Geist now fighting a 1 Amber Wizard. And everything is just dying. We're looking at 1 Empire Captain. The Mortis engines are trying to, like, make things flee. The Imperial player is now moving in. So, like, I would like to point out, he was only fighting Bretonia. Only Bretonia's infantry, and not even the mainstay of his force. The mainstay is over here. Here it is. I found it. Right over here. Here's the big deal that we got to worry about. So I'm actually just going to be back here using my cannon. Why? I have cannon. When you have cannon, you can dictate the range of a fight. So that's what I end up doing. I let my cannon do the talking for a little while because it's able to do so much. I mean, why else would I do anything but use my cannon? Right now I'm trying to shoot. Also, I end up shooting a little bit at the Demigryph Knights up here, killing a few of them. I'm hitting them everywhere. I'm actually doing a lot of damage. Because if I charge in, trebuchets will wreck me too. Don't get me wrong, they'll wreck me too. Here's a Terror guys, we're looking at it right now, 42 kills, not a lot of kills. I mean, that is just really from killing peasant bowmen, which is really just not going to change up the battle completely. And they're charging in and out. They know how to cycle their charges. They're charging in and out. I'm just trying to weaken their leader. I'm trying to kill these Demirth Knights right now. The Flock of Doom is being used. I mean, look, that Flock of Doom is being used so much. They're taking so much damage. That guy had a lot of magic. I don't know if he used anything but that one spell because, man, he kept whittling people down with it. So here you have my ally going, oh, worst ally ever. Oh. And I get that. You wanted me to rush in. You wanted me to rush in so I could be flanked too. So I could have knights rail me over and over and over so that I could also be part of not using my cannon. Why? If I leave my cannon will no longer be able to shoot. My cannon can still take out a lot. If you look at it right now, my cannon's still shooting. I'm reforming, 44 kills. And over here, we're just looking at another group, 31 kills, and they're just going to keep on accumulating kills. I'm going to keep on killing knights because knights are going to be able to charge in and out. They're going to be able to annoy me heavily. But I told myself, I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them how to win a battle. And that's what I end up doing here. Right now, I'm trying to scare off the Bretonnian player because, again, map control is so important. When you can just say when I move, when I don't move. And over here, he blobbed. You never blob. That is not a thing that you do. If you blob like that, yeah, you can have everyone shoot into your ranks, you die. You can have everyone use trebuchets to shoot into your ranks, you die again. And Vlad's gonna last for a long time. That's just a fact. So you've killed a bunch of really cheap infantrymen led by Bretonnia. These are not a big deal. These are like not even concerning me at all because they're just a non-factor. They're way too cheap. They're way too weak on their own. I could easily beat all of Bretonnia's men because they can't counter me at all, which means I'm not worried about them. So we're going to fast forward for a little while. It's going to be a long fight still. The trebuchets are going to do a lot of damage. I'm trying to use my cannons to actually hit their knights. I actually do end up killing a lot of their knights of the realm with my cannon. The Grail Knights, of course, are more of a worry. But once we get to the actual crux of the battle, I'm going to show you a very intense and close battle. Here I'm now fighting 2 players, right? I've got 2 players to fight right now because my ally charged in, no thought at all. Because, I mean, if you kill a bunch of cheap infantrymen, you have not done your job. What you need to worry about is the actual core of the enemy's force. So here I am now, using my cannon. I'm trying to shoot some trebuchets. Of course, trying to actually destroy them could be such a pain. So I end up changing my targets anyway, going, oh, they shouldn't be able to bother me much more. I was wrong, and I do wish I destroyed them earlier on. I'm now relocating again, shooting at more of their knights. 7 Grail Knights dead in that last salvo. We're looking at it now. I'm taking minimal damage. I'm moving up now. Just in time. I do have Iron Breakers who will be able to throw in satchel charges and they'll do a lot of damage. I do have Thunderers who are now moving in. Let's go check it out real quick. Yeah, the trebuchets end up doing a lot of damage, but here I am. And these Bretonnian men are just going to die immediately. If you look at them, they're just being hit by satchel charges as they're charging in. He's going to try to use his knights. I mean, I did not allow that Bretonnian player to flank me as much as he would have liked to. He did cycle charges so quickly with his Grail Knights, though. He went in and out so quickly, which actually made it very hard for me to win. Usually players do not try to cycle that much. No, he did a good thing. He actually cycled very, very well. What he didn't do well was actually controlling his infantrymen by letting them all huddle up in one group. But now the Empire player's coming. He's got great swords, too. We're looking at so many more. And I'm fighting on my own. And here I have my Thunderers doing a lot of damage. I wasn't able to properly protect them as I wanted to. I'm hitting that Empire Captain a little bit. I'm trying to move him back in. I know that they're going to charge in. And this Bretonnian player had a pretty easy time popping in and out. He had a much easier time lifting his knights out than I ever do. So I found that pretty funny because usually when I'm trying to like get out quickly, it takes me a little bit more time and I end up taking more damage and things like that. So they actually do beat up on my Thunderers quite a bit. My cannons are still firing. They're still going at it. 112, 94 kills. I'm over here now beating their infantry on the line. If I was able to keep my thunderers, things might have been a little bit easier for me, but that definitely made life a lot harder. But I'm still doing my damage. I'm fighting a lord. We've got those Demigryph Knights here beginning to die now. We're going to a cinematic view. If you look at it, Thorgrim doesn't care. Thorgrim does what Thorgrim does, killing the peasantry like that. And we're just satcheling them as they're fleeing. Huh. Great swords will take a longer period of time to fight. They have armor piercing, and again, I'm being flanked. I have hammerers, I have slayers, and they're all here to do their part. And these guys are just gonna, you know, charge in and out. They're gonna do their part to hurt me. And I'm not really able to hit them because of, look, see how quickly they just kind of immediately rise back up. So that made it very hard for me to fight. Usually when I charge in, I need to really work on that, because I mean, if you can do that, that makes Bretonnia pretty evil. I know that we've been lamenting, Fiction and myself, about how there needs to be a change to Bretonnia, because right now the meta is just kind of samey. The builds are so, I mean, look, strong faction, but samey builds, and so like it would be nice to have a little bit more variety to it, I guess. Here's my High King, 300 man, 36 kills right now, which is actually not too bad for good old Thorgrim. They're charging in again, another wave, and my whole point is to not let my Iron Breakers break, and I knew that they could be lower tier infantry. I'm using my Rune Priests non-stop. I'm using them non-stop right now as we're being charged at again and again. They're trying to use Peasant Bowmen to tear up my Slayers, which is actually a very good call. They're unarmored. That was a good call. So, I mean, I'm clearly fighting players who know what they're doing at the very least, who can figure that part out. Amusingly enough, they didn't care to, or just weren't able to hit my cannon. We keep on shooting. Yeah, the trebuchets, though, man, they just end up tearing me a new one. It's really a shame what they end up doing. If you look at it right now, their infantry is beginning to break. That Flock of Doom, he kept using it, man, over and over and over. I was really just shocked about how much he was able to use it. It actually does whittle me down pretty heavily. But they're, all right, so I want to use an analogy. They're trying to crack a walnut. They have no tools. They're trying to squeeze it with their hands right now, over and over and over. They're releasing, going back in, releasing, going back in, and that's just kind of what's happening right now. I'm flanked by a few spearmen. I'm very shocked about how long they stay. I still have my Rune Priest and Thorgrim. I have every rune activated for my Rune Priest. I mean, I would call this Thorgrim's Shield, because, man, do I hold. And I would definitely call it a 2 versus 1. When you look at the kill feed at the very end, you'll understand why. I'm looking over here. The cannons are finally losing. At least one cannon is. Their bowmen are just shooting in, getting a few hits in, probably hitting a few of their own guys. It's still doing enough damage to me. But yeah, I don't have the capabilities to beat them back to take out my thunderers right now. See, alright, the other thing is, dwarfs are very slow. Very slow. So for me to charge over there would have taken forever. That would have been a very long affair. So that's why you don't charge right in before I can even get somewhat over there. But yeah, those Pegasus Knights, man, they were just going in and out. They kept cycling over and over and over. And if you look at it right now, the battle's not yet done. We're actually tit for tat in number. It was still a very close fight. Why? They still had Bretonnia charging in and out using a Lord. Surprisingly not the King. I don't know how the stats are on a Lord, but surprisingly not the King. And they still have a General of the Empire, so I mean, the fight's still very painful because I cannot land them. I end up making a few of the bowmen flee for a little bit, but they're gonna be back. I'm using my buffs all the time. I did manage to get one Paladin though, that felt pretty good. Okay, we're gonna fast forward a little bit here. Just a little bit. Alright, so here's where I really kind of mess up. And I really have a tough time, and he's gonna get a lot of kills. These trebuchets are gonna rip me a new one. And look at that. One has 224 kills, one has 72 kills. They were able to accumulate so many kills, and they're still able to do so. And here, I can't really do much. They charge in, but they immediately lift off. So they get a nice charge in, kill a few, and they leave. Maybe not enough to make me flee, but it's still enough to do damage to me. So my goal right now is to try to get to the woods so I can fight in the woods over here. But look at the amount of bodies here. I made my shield, and they died upon it. They went behind my shield, and I used my thumbs to jab them in the eye. I mean, if you look at that, they don't have a lot of knights left. I killed a majority of them. Pegasus knights are looking pretty weak. They just have very minimal amounts of things right now. But they're still harassing me. They're still coming in and out. I'm way too grouped up, but I'm just trying to get in there quickly, man. I'm just trying to move. He's killing so many of my poor dwarfs because of that trebuchet just being so accurate, so powerful. Flock of Doom also ends up doing a lot of damage again, so that's dropping a few more of my dwarfs too. They just drop dead, being killed by birds, bird crap. And they keep charging in. A few of them break. I'm going back in, but the point is they can't crack that nut. I'm one hard nut to crack, and they can't crack it. And here we go, like the final stage of the battle, I guess. I'm using Rune of Wrath where I can, and whenever they're grouped together, that'll do damage to both of them. Okay, I shattered the Amber Wizard, which is great. But the Bretonnian player is the one who really wants to play hard. Now, if I fight them in the woods, they're going to slow down. It'll reduce their speed and combat efficiency of any large troops, which works to my advantage. So that's what I'm doing here. I don't want to satchel charge my own men. That would be pretty bad. I'm going to have to kill their bowmen. If I can kill all of their infantry, then at the very least I can... Okay, they've only got a few more shots left, but man, they beat me up. But yeah, if I can kill all of their infantry, then they have to land, then I win. They're still trying to go after my king. They can't do enough damage to him. He's got 77 kills. Iron Breakers are still holding on. We're looking at so many kills for various units, because I mean, keep in mind, my hammers and slayers were also the ones killing all their horsemen. More dying. These guys are fleeing. There's a lord dying as well. I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit because we've seen, I mean, we've largely watched the, overall battle, and they're still trying to crack me over and over and over, and that is when they're just charging in with what they have, trying to whittle me down. And I have my Iron Breakers who have satchel charges left lined up over here. That lord keeps charging in. They keep doing their part to charge in to aggravate me to hell. How effective they were. I thought they would break one day. I feel like things last for a much longer period of time. Did it change like the overall leadership? Because I feel like things aren't breaking as quickly. I don't know. Because they've taken a lot of damage. But I've killed a peasant bowman. If they try to fight my Iron Breakers, I mean, they're not going to win it. They're way too low tier in that regard. So you had a big blob over here. Look at all the dead grave guard. Bunch of cheap soldiers dead. A lot of dead undead, or re-dead, whatever. I shot him up with the cannon, got rid of the Luminarch, which is quite accurate, and a lot of gold. They came down here, and then they fought me. And then things changed up a little bit. I killed knights all over the field of battle. They kept trying, they couldn't do it. Then I moved over here on my own, killing their field trebuchet. They've got a lord. They've got their knights charging back in. There's only 5 left total. That lord, though, man. He gets in here. Nearly 100 kills. Leadership very high. The knights are over here. They don't get as many kills, but they're very good at disrupting. Okay, we're going to fast forward now. I'm chasing a few of them. They're coming back in. Could be like our, I think, our big final fight now. It's pretty much done for. I don't know, like if they just leave or what, but at that point I won. Yeah, they're beginning to waver now. Rune Priest killed 10, and it was a pirate victory, but we won. I lost over 900. He lost his entire army. I barely had any remaining, but the point is, though, I won it. 80 kills for Thorgrim. Okay, 73 for my Slayers, and if you look at that, I gained experience, all right? That is because they killed so many horsemen. They killed so many, and we have a few Hammers who were also killing a lot of them. That's why they, again, ranked up. A lot of kills with my cannons. They ranked up again. My Iron Breakers were looking pretty good. 100, 153, 139, 142. That's a lot of kills. My Thunderers did not get a lot of kills, but they killed some Grell Knights too, which definitely did help. We're looking at this player now. He brought in a lot of cheap infantrymen. They're not really meant to beat us in a infantry battle. His Knights were. His Trebuchets did an incredible amount of damage. I mean, they were the MVPs. His Lord did a great job. One Paladin did a great job too. We're looking at the other player. The Luminarch got no kills. You're welcome. The Empire Captain was here fighting the Vampire Count player largely before losing, I think. The General of the Empire would beat them. A lot of kills by the Flock of Doom with the Amber Wizard. A lot of Spearmen and Swordsmen and all that. But if you look at it here, Vlad got his peasantry kills. And it's like a few kills here and there. 56 here. None from his Dire Pack. So, I mean, that's gone. Only 17 with a Terror Guys. The Mortis engine is barely any kills. And they were even upgraded ones, too. The White King's not a lot of kills. Only Vlad, this group, and maybe one Terror Guy's actually getting enough kills to be okay. But that is how you play a Dwarf. That is how you really become one impenetrable shield that just will not break or give up. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like down below. And as always, until then,